some post-processing, make your images more stunning. Welcome to the Photo Post-Processing and Enhancement classroom. In this section, we'll cover unified color grading. How do we match several shots taken at the same time under the same light and color temperature to one identical look? There are two typical situations. Let's step into the lesson and see. First, we need to analyze the base tone of a commercial portrait like this. Generally, our eyes prefer a slightly cooler cast because it makes skin appear more translucent. Yet vision can easily deceive us. So how do we correct everything in one go? Take the key shot for example. Let's balance it in a single move. Start by selecting the main image. Grab the white balance eyedropper and click on a white or neutral gray area in the shadows. At this point, the color is technically correct, but we often dislike it because it feels yellow. After the auto white balance has been applied, we move on to fine-tune exposure, as well as highlight, shadows, and contrast. This kind of photo is a high-key portrait. We can let the exposure ride a little brighter. But be careful, details must remain that finished step 1. Step 2. If the overall temperature still feels warm, we manually pull it back toward cool. Step 3. Check whether highlights and shadows need more work. For instance, drop the highlights slightly to recover fabric detail. Lift the whites a touch to make them sparkle. Sink the shadows a bit. If you raise shadows too far, blackhead turns gray. So we usually keep shadows conservative. Lower shadows a little, and do the same with blacks. Dropping both is an easy way to add punch. Now decide whether whites need a plus or minus. For portraits, the first local move is clarity. Push it up a touch, but always pull texture down. Zoom to 100% preview. High texture gives skin a gritty, tactile quality. So a slight reduction in texture equals natural skin smoothing, without hurting clarity. Clarity can then be trimmed to taste. The haze is optional. If I want a dreamy high-key mood, I lower the haze, adding a gentle fall that reinforces the airy look. Vibrance gets a small plus to give skin a healthy glow. That wraps the basic panel. Next, we could visit the tone curve. You don't have to touch every panel. For this shot, we may skip curves entirely. Curves let you shape highlights, lights, and darks, and also tweak individual red, green, and blue channels. If skin is too yellow, for example, click into the red channel. Use the targeted adjustment tool to lift it slightly, shifting the overall hue. Remember, inside curves, always finalize brightness and contrast first, then touch color. Otherwise, the image turns muddy. For this photo, we don't need curves today. Now detail. Cut noise a little, add a modest amount of sharpening, and drop the noise reduction depth. It's a standard universal move. Back to the color mixer. As mentioned earlier, if skin skews yellow, not huge or red, use the Hue tab to shift the skin's fingerprint. Saturation is set by the brightness of the skin and the intensity you want. Luminance can be raised or lowered. Once the base colors are locked, preview the entire frame. Detail and texture look good, and crucially, there is no color cast. How do we apply these corrections to the rest of the set? Easy one click. Right-click the adjusted image. Choose Select All. Then right-click again and pick Sync Settings. Inside the dialog, tick anything you want to carry over crop spot healing local masks. We didn't use those options on this photo, so they stay unchecked. Hit OK. Instantly every frame inherits the same grade, including the crop if you want, batch crop if needed. And we're done. One gentle click finish synchronize correction for 4 photos. If any single frame still drifts, tweak it individually. Say this one, its whites are clearly green. So in the basic panel, we pull green down a hair and add a touch of magenta. Check the result. The second frame is also slightly green, so we add a little magenta as well. A tiny shift leaves skin smooth and whites neutral, matching what our eyes expect. We add a cold cyan cast. When every file is ready, select all and export as images. Note: you can save to the same folder or create a new retouched collection elsewhere. Set the long edge size. For WeChat articles, 3000 pixels is plenty. For archive purposes, leave resize unchecked and keep the native resolution. Format choice. Use TIFF for portfolio work. JPG for everyday delivery. Once the settings are locked,